I think I left it on the table. Gonna rain tonight.
Paper says so?
Yeah, right here.
Then it can't rain.
Hiya.
Hello, Brett. Let's do it.
Nothing. Woke up my breakfast. That beautiful? Not a cloud.
Yeah, nice.
Every Sunday ought to be like this.
Want the paper?
What's the difference? It's all bad news. What's today's calamity?
I don't know. I don't read the news part anymore. It's more interesting in the one ads.
Why, you trying to buy something?
No, I'm just interested to see what people want. You know, for instance, there's a guy looking for new Newfoundland dogs. Now, what's he want with the two Newfoundland dogs?
That is funny.
Here's another one. Wanted old dictionaries, high price paid. Now, what's a man going to do with an old dictionary?
Why not? Probably a book collector.
You mean he'll make a living out of that?
Sure, there's a lot of them.
All the kind of business going on. In my day, either you're a lawyer or a doctor. You work in a shop now.
Well, I was going to be a professor once.
Well, that shows you. In my day, there was no such thing. You look at the page like this, realize how ignorant you are.
Hey, what happened to your tree?
Ain't that awful? The wind must got it last night. You heard
Yeah.
the wind, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a mess in my yard too. What a pity. What Kate say?
They're all asleep yet. I'm just waiting for her to see it.
You know, it's funny.
What?
Larry was born in August. He'd be 27 this month, and his tree blows down.
I'm surprised to remember his birthday, friend. That's
Think
nice.
about the
Well, I'm working
green
on
color
his
for
horoscope.
information. Green color, information.
How can you make him horoscope? That's for the future, ain't it?
Well, what I'm doing is to see. Larry was reported missing on November 25th, right?
Yeah.
Well then, we assumed that if it was killed, it was on November 25th. Now, what Kate wants...
Okay, ask you to make a horoscope.
Yeah, what she wants to find out is whether November 25th was a favorable day for Larry.
What is that favorable day?
Well, a favorable day for a person is a fortunate day, according to his stars. In other words, it would be practically impossible for him to have died on his favorable day.
Well, what was it his favorable day? November 25th?
That's what I'm working out to find out. It takes time. See, the point is, if November 25th was his favorable day, then it's completely possible he's alive somewhere. Because, I mean, it's possible. I didn't even see you.
Is it something sense?
Him? He's alright. He just completed his mind. That's all.
The trouble with you is, you don't believe in anything.
And your trouble is that you believe in anything. You didn't see my
Conflict.
kid this morning, did you?
No.
Imagine, he woke up with his thermometer right out of his bag.
What a problem. One look at a girl and he takes her temperature.
That boy is going to be a real doctor. He's smart.
Over my dead body, he will, doctor. A good beginning, too.
Why? It's an honorable profession.
Frank, will you stop talking like a civics book?
Why, I saw a movie a couple of weeks ago. Reminded me of you. There was a doctor in that
Don't
picture.
have a shit.
Yeah, I think it was. And he worked in his basement discovering things. That's what you ought to do. You can help humanity instead of...
I would love to have humanity on the Warner Brothers salary.
That's very good, Jim.
Well, where's the beautiful girl who's supposed to be here?
Ooh, and he came?
She was sleeping upstairs. We picked her up to 1 o'clock train last night. Wonderful thing. Really see her as a scrawny kid. Couple of years go by. She's a regular woman. How do you recognize her? And she was running in and out of this yard all her life. That's where I was a very happy family used to live in the house.
Like meet her. The block and newspaper girl. In the whole neighborhood, there's not a damn thing to look at. Except my wife, of course.
Mr. Adam is on you dog.
Such is the condition which prevails. My love,
Good.
my love, my life.
Don't sit from me and give her an nasty answer. It gets on her parking over the boat.
What's the matter with her now?
I don't know, dear. She sounds like she's in terrible pain. Unless her mouth is full of candy.
Why don't you just tell her to lay down?
She ate it more when you tell her to lay down. And when are you going to see? When are you going to see Mr. Hubbard?
My dear, Mr. Hubbard is not sick. I have better things to do than to sit here and hold his hand.
It seems to me that for $10 you could put his hand.
If your son wants to play golf, tell him I'm going with. I'm ready. Or if he'd like to take a trip on the road for about 30 years.
Why do you live with him? He's a doctor. Women aren't supposed to call him up. All I said was Mr. Adam is on the phone. Can I have some of your phone, please? Yeah, sure. You were a nurse too long, Susie. You were too realistic. Now you said it.
Frank, the toaster.
Hello.
The toaster is off the date.
Well, plug it in. I just fixed it.
Please, dear, fix it back like the way it was before.
I don't know why you can't learn to turn on a simple thing like a toaster.
Thomas Edison.
He's really very handy. Oh, did the wind catch your tree?
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, what a pity. Can you get it?
She'll be done soon. Will you meet her? Soon, she's an out. I should have been a man. People are always interested in introducing me to a beautiful woman. Tell her to come over later. I imagine she would like to see what we did in her house. And thanks.
Is she still unattractive, Joe?
Information.
Annie, I don't suppose she goes around dancing on her toes.
Is she still unhappy?
She's going to get married. Is there anybody?
I suppose. Say,
Conflict.
It's a couple of years already. Come on, what for us?
It's so strange. Annie's here and not even married. And I've got 3 babies. I always thought it'd be the other way around.
Well, that's what the war does. I had 2 sons, now I got 1. It takes all the tallies. In my day, when we had sons, it was an honor. Today, a doctor could make $1 million if he could figure out a way to bring a boy into the world without a trigger finger.
You know, I was just rude. Hey, Chris.
Lydia, come in here. If you want the toaster to work, don't plug in the multi-mixer.
Did I?
And the next time I fix something, don't tell me I'm crazy. Now come in here.
I'll never hear the end of this one.
So what's the difference? It's not of a toaster's half a mountain. You want the paper?
That's alright, just the book section.
You're always reading the book section and you never buy a book.
I like to keep abreast of my glories.
What is that? Every weekend you book outside.
Lots of new books,
All different.
all different.
Can you have it?
Mother's giving her breakfast in the dining room.
See what happened to the tree.
Yeah.
What's Marty going to say?
You're tying me up.
Ha, Bert! Where's here? Where's Tommy? You got his party thermometers again.
He's taking a reading.
What?
But it's only oral.
Oh well, there's no mark in oral, so what's good this morning, Bert?
Nothing.
Then you could have made a common expression of the block. In the beginning, when I first made a policeman, you should come in every morning with something new. Now, nothing except you.
I saw some kids from the 30th Street. They started kicking a can down the block, and I made them go away because you were sleeping.
Now you're talking, Bert. Now you're on the ball. First thing, I'm liable to make you a detective.
Can I see the jail now?
See me dealing now. Bert, you know that.
I bet you there isn't even a jail. I don't see any bars on the ceiling. Bars on the ceiling windows.
Bert, on my work of honor, there's a jail in the basement. I showed you my gun, didn't I?
That's a hunting gun.
That's an arresting gun.
Then why don't you ever arrest anybody? Tommy said another day you worked at Doris yesterday, and you didn't even demote him.
Yeah, that's a dangerous character. That's Tommy.
Well, I can't say that.
Well, give me an idea.
I can't. It's not a nice word.
Just use word in my ear. I'll close my eyes. Again, I won't even hear it.
I can't, Mr. Keller.
Don't make him do that.
Okay, Bert, I take your word. I'll go. I keep going. I steal. For what? For what? Bert, the whole neighborhood is depending on you. A policeman doesn't ask questions. They'll fill them eyes.
Okay.
Conflict.
And mum's the word, Bert.
About what?
Just in general, be careful.
Okay.
I got all the guess crazy.
One of these days, they'll all come in here and be your brains out.
What is she going to say? Maybe we ought to tell her before she sees it.
She saw it.
How could she see it? I was the first one up. She was still in the bed.
She was out here when it broke.
When?
About 4 this morning. I heard it cracking, and I woke up and looked out. She was standing right here when it cracked.
What was she doing out here for in the morning?
I don't know. When it cracked, she ran back into the house and cried in the kitchen.
You didn't talk to her.
No, I figured the best thing was to leave her alone.
She cried hard.
I could hear her right through the floor of my room.
What was she doing out here at that hour? She's dreaming about him again. She's walking around at night.
I guess she is.
She's getting just like after he died. What's the meaning of that?
I don't know the meaning of it. But I know one thing, Dad. We've made a terrible mistake with Mother.
What?
Being dishonest with her. That kind of thing always pays off, and now it's paying off.
What do you mean dishonest?
You know, Larry's not coming back, and I know it. Why do we allow her to go on thinking that we'll believe with her?
What do you want to do? Argue with her?
I don't want to argue with her, but it's time she realized that nobody believes Larry is alive anymore. Why shouldn't she dream of him, walk the nights waiting for him? Do we contradict her? Do we say straight out that we have no hope anymore? That we haven't had any hope for years now?
We can say that to her.
We've got to say it to her.
How are you going to prove it? Can you prove it?
For God's sake, 3 years! Nobody
Conflict.
comes back after 3 years. It's insane.
To you, it is, and to me. But not to her. You can solve yourself blue in the face, but there's no body and there's no grave. So where are you?
Calming
Sit down,
conflict.
Dad. I want to talk to you.
What he just said.
The trouble is a goddamn newspaper. Every month, some boy turns up from somewhere, so the next one is going to be right. So,
Alright, listen to me. You know why I asked Annie here, don't you?
why?
You know,
Well, I get an idea, but what's the story?
I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Well, that's all your business, Chris.
You know it's not only my business.
What do you want me to do? You're old enough to know your own mind.
Then it's alright, I'll go ahead with it.
Well, you want to be sure Mother isn't going to.
Then it isn't just my business.
You say it.
Sometimes you infuriate me, you know that? Isn't it your business too? If I tell this to Mother and she throws a fit about it?
Yep,
You have such a talent
conflict.
for ignoring things.
I ignore what I gotta ignore. The girl is Larry's girl.
She's not Larry's girl.
From Mother's point of view, he's not dead, and you have no right to take this girl. And you can go on from there if you know where to go. But I'm telling you, you don't know where to go. See, I don't know. Now what can I do for you?
I don't know why it is, but every time I reach out for something I want, I have to pull back because other people will suffer. My whole bloody life, time after time after time.
You're a considerate fella. There's nothing wrong in that.
To hell with that.
Did you ask Annie yet?
I wanted to get this settled first.
How do you know she'll marry you? Maybe she feels the same way as Mother does.
Well, if she does, then that's the end of it. From her letters, I think she's forgotten him. I'll find out. And then we'll trash it out with Mother. Right? Dad, don't avoid me.
The trouble is, you don't see enough women. You never did.
So what? I'm not fastest woman.
I don't see why it has to be Annie.
Because it is.
That's a good answer, but it don't answer anything. You haven't seen her since you went to work. It's 5 years.
I can't help it. I know her best. I was brought up next door to her. These years when I think of someone for my wife, I think of Annie. What do you want? A diagram?
I don't want a diagram. She think he's coming back. Chris, you married that girl and you're pronouncing him dead. Now what's going to happen to Mother? You know, I don't.
Alright, then Dad.
Give it some more thought.
I've given it 3 years of thoughts. I hope that if I waited, Mother would forget Larry and then we'd have a regular wedding and everything happy. But if that can't happen, then I'll have to get out.
What the hell is this?
I'll get out. I'll get married and live someplace else. Maybe in New York.
Giving
Are you
information.
crazy?
I've been a good son-in-law, a good sucker. I'm through with it.
We've got a business here. What the hell is this?
The business doesn't inspire me.
Was he being inspired?
Yes, I like it an hour a day. If I have to grab for money all day long, at least at evening I want it beautiful. I want a family, I want some kids. I want to build something I can give myself to. Annie's in the middle of that. Now, where do I find it?
You mean, tell me something. You mean you would leave the business?
Yes, on this I would.
Well, you don't want to think like that.
Then help me stay here.
Alright, but don't think like that. Because what the hell did I work for you? That's only for you, Chris. The whole student match is for you.
I know that, Dad. Just help me stay here.
But don't you think that way.
I'm thinking that way.
I don't understand you. Know why?
No, you don't. I'm a pretty tough guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hello, Mom.
Did you take a back from the sink?
Yeah, I put it in the wheel.
Well, get it out of hell. That's my potato.
I thought it was a garbage.
Will you do me a favor, Joe? Don't be helpful.
I got a 400 bag of potatoes.
Minnie scored that pail in boiling water last night. It's cleaner than your teeth.
And I don't understand why after I worked 40 years and I got a maid. Why have to take out the garbage?
If you won't make up your mind that every bag in the kitchen isn't full of garbage, you wouldn't be throwing out my vegetables. Last time it was the onions.
I don't like garbage in the house.
Then don't eat.
That settles you for today.
Yeah, I'm in the last place again. I don't know, once upon a time I used to think that when I got money again, I would have a maid and my wife will take it. Now I got money and I get a maid. And my wife is working for the maid.
It's her day off. What are you crabbing about?
Isn't any finished eating?
She'll be right out. Dad, when that some job on his plate? So much for that, thank God.
So that take it easy.
I've got such a funny pain on the top of my head.
Can I get you an aspirin?
No more roses. It's so funny. Everything decides to happen at the same time. This month is his birthday. His tree blows down, and he comes. Everything that happens seems to be coming back. I was just down the cellar, and what do I stumble over? His baseball glove. I haven't seen it in a cent.
Don't you think Annie looks well?
Fine, there's no question about it. She's a beauty. I still don't know what brought her here. Not that I'm not glad to see her, but
I just thought we'd all like to see each other again. And I wanted to see her myself.
the only thing is, I think her nose got longer, but I almost love that girl. She's one that didn't jump into that with somebody else instead of it happened with her fella.
Oh, what are you?
Never mind. Most of them didn't wait. We would wait till the telegrams were open. I'm just glad she came, so you can see I'm not completely out of my mind.
Just because she isn't married doesn't mean she's mourning Larry.
Why didn't you?
Okay, that's causing conflict.
It could have been any number of things.
Like what, for instance?
I don't know. Whatever it is. Can I get you an aspirin?
It's not like a headache.
You don't sleep, that's why. She's very awkward, bedroom slippers than shoes.
I had a terrible night. I never had a night like that.
What is it, Mom? Did you dream?
About Larry?
Okay.
More than a thing.
About Larry?
I was positive, and
This is giving information, what she's going to
remember
say.
the way he used to fly? Fly past the house when he was in training? What we used to see his face in the cockpit going by, that's the way I saw him, only high up, way up where the clouds are. He was so real. Like, I could reach out and touch him, and suddenly he started to fall and crying to me, Mom, Mom! I could hear him like he was in a room. Mom, it was his voice. If I could touch him, I knew I could stop him. If I could only. I woke up and it was so funny. The wind, it was like the roaring of his engine. I can't hear. I must have still been half asleep. I could hear the roaring like he was going by. The tree slept right in front of me and I came awake. See? What? We should never have climbed that tree. I said so in the first place. It was so soon to climb a tree for me.
Too soon.
conflict.
The wind blew it down. What
Information.
significance has that got? What are you talking about? Mother, please. Don't go through it all again, will you? It's no good. It doesn't accomplish anything. I've been thinking, you know? Maybe we ought to put our minds to forgetting him?
That's the third time you say.
Information.
Because it's not right. We never took up our lives again. We're like at a railroad station, waiting for a train that never comes in.
Get me an aspirin.
Sure, and let's break out of this, eh, Mum? I thought the four of us might go out to dinner a couple of nights. Maybe go dancing out on the shore.
Fine, we can do it tonight.
So with me.
Sure, let's have some fun. You'll start with this aspirin.
Why did he invite her here?
Why does that bother you?
She's been in New York 3.5 years. Why all of a sudden?
Well, maybe you just wanted to see her.
Nobody comes 700 miles just to see.
What do you mean? He lived next door to the girl all his life. Why shouldn't he want to see her again? Don't look at me like that. He didn't tell me any more than he told you.
He's not going to marry her.
How do you know he's even thinking of it?
It's got that about it.
Well, so what?
What's going on here, Joe?
Now listen, kid.
She's not his girl, Joe. She knows she's not.
You can read her mind.
Then why is she still single? New York is full of men. Why isn't she married? Probably 100 people told me she's foolish, but she's pretty.
I don't know why she would.
She knows what I know, that's why. She's faithful as a rock. In my worst
Information.
moments, I think of her waiting and I know again that I'm right.
Look, it's a nice day. What are we arguing for?
Nobody in this house does take her faith away, Joe. Strangers might, but not his father, not his brother.
What do you want me to do? What do you want?
I want you to act like he's coming back. Both of you don't think I haven't noticed you since Chris invited her. I won't stand up for any nonsense.
But Kate.
Because if he's not coming back, then I'll kill myself. Laugh at me. Like, but what did that happen that very night she came back? Laugh, but there are meanings in such things. She goes to sleep in his room, and his memory will break in pieces. Look at it, look. Joe,
Calm yourself.
breathe with me, Joe. I can't stand all alone.
Calm yourself.
Only
That's
last
a
week,
calming
you
down
turned up in
conflict
Detroit,
line.
missing longer than Larry. You read it yourself.
Alright, calm yourself.
You above all have got to believe you.
Why me above all?
Just don't stop believing.
What does that mean? Me above all?
Mr. Keller, say Mr. Keller. Tommy just said it again.
Then what? Who?
The dirty word.
Oh well.
Gee, aren't you going to arrest him? I warned him.
We'll finish the
Stop
performance
that
and go to
word.
recess.
Go home. There's no jail here.
Kate.
There's no jail here. I want you to stop that jail business.
He's right across the street.
Go home, Bert. I want you to stop that, Joe. The whole jail business.
Look at you. Look at you shaking.
I can't help it.
What have I got to hide? What the hell is the matter with you, Kate?
I didn't say you had anything to hide. I'm just telling you to stop it. Now stop it.
Hey, Joe. Okay.